For thousands of years, Chaozhou culture has taken characteristics from the people of the Central Plains, Nanyue, as well as from overseas. Today, Chaozhou is a renowned cultural center of the Lingnan, China. Throughout China's turbulent history, people moved southward, bringing cultural traditions with them. As a result, the music in Chaozhou has continually developed and taken on new characteristics. Elements that influenced Chaozhou music have mainly been the environment, humanity, and language of the region. Chaozhou has neutral climate with both sunshine and rain, as well as warm winters and cool summers. The green, well-balanced climate of Chaozhou encourages an admiration for nature. In Chaozhou, the Yehu's voice box is made of coconuts, while its bridge is made of clamshells. The Sonat's whistle is made of reed straw and mimics the sound of a human voice. Each Chaozhou percussion instrument is capable of making only one musical note. For example, striking the cymbal produces the D note, Qinzi the E note, and Suluo the G note. Chaozhou music has a subtle and elegant style, emphasizing the connection between humans and nature. Teochew is thought to be one of the oldest Chinese languages. It preserves older Chinese pronunciations and vocabularies that have been lost in other modern varieties of Chinese. Between the 9th to 15th century, in an effort to avoid war, famine, and disease, the Han population in the Central Plains began migrating southward. Chaozhou is somewhat desolated, which has helped the unique Gandatian language of the area survive to modern times. Chaozhou Zheng uses the Ersipu, which is a musical score that is sung using the Teochew language. There are rich phonological changes and subtle emotional expressions within Chaozhou Zheng music that can be traced back to the Teochew language and its complex pronunciation. Chaozhou Zheng was also called Qin Zheng, after it's brought over from the Qin state. However, depending on the pastor of the player, it may be known as Zhua Zheng or Jia Zheng. Through the blending of cultures and over several generations, many pieces have been created for the Chaozhou Zheng. As a result, the Zheng plays an important role in Chaozhou music and has become famous throughout the region. There are many Chaozhou Zheng pieces that arose from traditional instrumental ensembles, such as xian shi, xi yue, and han yue. Xian shi, also named xian shi yue, is a traditional instrumental ensemble that pairs musical scores with poetry. Xian shi uses ersipu, a form of notation used to record Chaozhou traditional music. Xian shi was mainly spread to Chaoshan and Minnan, afterwards moving southeast following Chinese communities overseas. The earliest xian shi included the instruments zhuxian, dongxiao, and yuexian. In the early 19th century, the yangqin, referred to as yaoqin by the people of Chaozhou, began appearing in xian shi. depending on the setting of the performance, as well as the musical style 弦诗 include 儒家乐 and 彭鼎乐。儒家乐 includes both professional ensembles as well as amateur ensembles. 儒家乐 has an elegant style and is often featured in festivals. 彭鼎乐 is an accompaniment within traditional opera. It's a strong and passionate musical style. However, these days, it's 儒家乐 that is most often heard. 弦诗 includes a wide array of 曲牌. This traditional 曲牌 borrow the names of ancient poems that describe the moon, flowers, water, birds and fish in their stanzas. The 10 grand Chaozhou 弦诗 are jackdaws scramble water, the grievance of Chaozhou, a little pigeon red, oriole song, the moon is high, well goes on the show, 大八板, 凤求凰, jade link, and the ice on the cake. Both 戏乐 and 弦诗 have a variety of 曲牌, all of which may be played using the zheng. While the 笛套古乐, 庙堂乐, 唢呐乐, and other folk songs frequently use zheng as an accompanying instrument. There are many Chaozhou Zheng pieces that become popular and widespread. Chaozhou music was even the earliest Zheng genre to spread overseas. Chaozhou Zheng music is unique in its approach to musical scoring, scaling, and rules of rhythm and melody. Chaozhou Zheng music has traditionally used 二四谱 for its scoring. 二四谱 arrangements from a score of string instrumental music known as 弦索谱. 二四谱 started appearing in the beginning of the 7th century. When imperial musicians migrated to southern China, they brought the scores of the 13th string qinzheng with them to Chaoshan. 二四谱 uses teochew and singing and speaking, and start using 7 words. These words represent the musical notation. Arsipu merely outline the melody, while performers should do their best to musically fill in the blanks. This often leads to impromptu performances and serves as a challenge for musicians seeking to improve techniques and improvisation. Impromptu performances were quite frequent in traditional Chinese music. These performances helped add sense of vividness and creativity. Therefore, Arsipu is essential when learning how to play or sing Chaozhou music. Qing 3-6, Zhong 3-6, Qing 3 Zhong 6, Huo Wu, and Fan Xian are keys associated with Chaozhou music. Qing, Zhong, Huo, and Fan refer to the method of key organization, while 3, 6, Wu are the names of the specific pitches produced. The Qing 3-6 key is well suited to relaxing and emotional music. The Zhong 3-6 key can be paired with deep emotional feelings. The Qing 3 Zhong 6 key is helpful when conveying sadness. The Huo Wu key has resounding reverberations and requires complicated left-hand playing technique. People who listen to pieces that make use of the Huo Wu key are typically charmed by its complicated bittersweet tones. The Huo Wu key is the most complex and difficult to play out of all the keys within Chaozhou music. Huo Wu is more dynamic in nature and requires a more challenging playing technique. Therefore, Chaozhou Zheng players typically study Qing 6 and Zhong 6 prior to moving on to Huo Wu. The Fan Xian key has relaxing and comedic qualities. The tempo changes 3 times over 3 passages. This is the defining characteristic of rhythm in Chaozhou Zheng music. The first passage is Touban, the second Kaopai, and the third Sanban, all of which follow this pattern. Touban is a manban, uses 4 beats, 2 accented beats, and 2 unaccented beats, similar to a 4/4 time signature. In traditional Chinese music, this is referred as 一板三眼. Kaopai is also known as Kaoda and has a fast tempo with 1/4 time signature. Kaopai is often followed up by Sanban in musical structure. Sanban has just 1 accented beat, similar to a 1/4 time signature. In traditional Chinese music, this is called 有板无眼. Chaozhou music borrowed heavily from performances and styles within 唐大曲. Zheng was an accompaniment used in portions of 坐唱, 清唱, and dances within 唐大曲. The cui style was when instruments accompany dance alongside a gradually increasing tempo. Cui is also known as cuizhou and is a variation on Chaozhou Zheng music that influences beat, rhythm, and melody. There are many different variations of cui. Most frequently are 单cui, 双cui, and 双叠cui. Su Wenxian was born in Chaoan and learned Zheng from Wang Zeru. In addition to the Zheng, Su Wenxian played the piba, erxian, and yangqin. In 1953, Su Wenxian was researching Chaozhou music and focused attention on finding and editing lost music. In 1956, he taught at Northeast Music Academy, now renamed Shenyang Conservatory of Music. During his tenure, he helped spread Chaozhou Zheng music, while at the same time learning Northern Zheng music and left-handed playing techniques. Meanwhile, Su Wenxian took his 12 pieces along with pieces from Zhao Yuzhai and merged them into a musical score. After 1958, Su Wenxian went to teach Zheng, erxian, piba, and Chaozhou Music Ensemble at Guangzhou Music Academy, now renamed Xinhai Conservatory of Music. After the 1951 First National Symposium on Educational Zheng Teaching Materials in Xi'an, Su Wenxian added the text collection of Chaozhou Guzheng. This music text was soon spread to other conservatories throughout China. Gao Zherui was born in Chenghai, Guangdong Province. He majored in traditional Chinese medicine and minored in Zheng. His teachers were Hong Ruyan and Chen Fushun. He authored Chaozhou演奏法, which introduces the features and history of Chaozhou Zheng. His book includes 21 etudes and 36 pieces of Chaozhou Zheng and Handiao Zheng music, along with explanations and learner guides. He also added Chaozheng Zatan, a collection of essays that include many of his articles on music. Guo Ying was a staff member and librarian working at the Shanghai Research Institute of Culture and History. He was born in Chaoyang, Guangdong Province, and in his earlier years studied Yehu and later Zheng with Zhang Yili. In 1935, he moved on to Shanghai, where he took part in musical activities held by Xinchao Sizhu Music Group. Guo Ying tried to reblend Chaozhou musical pieces like Yi Dian Jing and Guo Jianglong into the Jiangnan Sizhu style. In 1951, Guo Ying established the Chaozhou Music Performances Group in Shanghai. In 1952, he worked as a Zheng soloist with Shanghai Chinese Orchestra. From 1959 to 1962, he taught Zheng at Nanjing University of the Arts and Shanghai Conservatory of Music. In 1992, he established the Zheng Institute within the Shanghai Musician Association and became its first president. Guo Ying spread Chaozhou music to Shanghai and the surrounding regions. Over his lifetime, Guo Ying contributed greatly to Chaozhou Zheng performances and teaching. Li Maogen was born in a musical family in Jieyang, Guangdong Province. His father Lin Daoyao was good at playing the yehu and often gathered musicians at his family home to perform. This musical background was surely an influence on Li Maogen's early life. He learned the Zheng with Zhang Hanzhai and later in 1950 established the Chaoye Innovative Music Group. This group gradually became more and more popular amateur group in Shantou. Since 1959, Li Maogen has worked in Shantou Chaozhou Ballet Troupe. Through the 1950s and up into the 1980s, he recorded several albums including The Moon is High, Liu Qingliang, and Longing for the Mortal World. Yang Xiuming was born in Chaoan, Guangdong Province. He learned music from Xu Disheng and later played in the Shantou Chaozhou Ballet Troupe. He was a talented painter, and his outlook on life mostly came from life experience, self-learning, and self-reflection. In 1981, Yang Xiumin would begin teaching Zheng at China Conservatory of Music, teaching for over a decade. Jackdaws Gamble Water is the most famous piece among the 10 Grand Chaozhou suites. Jackdaws Gamble Water portrays ducks frolicking in the water and is a style originating from the Tang Daci. Jackdaws Gamble Water includes 3 parts of uses banshi variation. The first part uses 头板, that's 4 beats using a slow tempo and 4/4 time signature. The second uses 考拍 and 1/4 time signature. Lately, there's 三板, which uses a 1/4 time signature and carries fast tempo. Liu Qingniang is a traditional piece that has gained popularity. Liu Qingniang's melody came from folk music that didn't originate from the 10 Grand Chaozhou suites. However, Liu Qingniang had the same structure as these 10 Grand Chaozhou suites. Liu Qingniang may be played in 4 different keys, including 清六、重六、清三重六 or 火五。Liu Qingniang is in the 火五 key, which consists of 头板、考拍 and 三板。The 火五 key is suited at highlighting the sadness of tragedy, which helps Liu Qingniang portray the sadness of an emotionally heavy melody. Interlude's former name was 玉娥郎 and was a very popular folk musical piece. It later became melody used in a variation of different styles and schools. 诸宫调 Interlude uses 二板 as a foundation, while varying its rhythm and melody. Chaozhou musicians depend on Chaozhou traditional music, as they regularly borrow styles and playing techniques, and blend them with modern Zheng. For example, Buckley spinning and weaving composed by Liu Tianyi, Pulling Roving Flowing Spring composed by Xu Disheng, and Homesick Chant composed by Gao Baijian.